Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday live stream. So we got a lot of news to cover, so let's just jump right into it. So first of all, just like title and thumbnail suggest, it looks like there is a trade deal made with someone, and it looks like they are leaning towards India. Now, what you're going to hear in a little bit, this is Lawrence Allen Kudlow, and he is an American conservative broadcast news analyst, mostly on Fox Business. Economist, columnist, journalist, economist. Like, well, I wanted to make sure that's clear to everybody. An economist, political commentator, radio personality. He served as the director of the National Economic Council during the Trump administration from his last term, 2018 and 2021. So when he's talking about things, it's not like he's just making things up. He has a pretty educated guess as to where things are going. And the reason why tariff is such a big deal is because no one wants to see a recession. I think I'm the only one that is really looking forward to a downturn, because I would like that to happen, because then the prices go in the toilet and everybody can pick up, really cheap ones, as far as like stocks, Bitcoin, digital assets, everything gets cheap. And recessions don't last forever. So I'm like the only one that I think it's rooting for it. But if it happens, it happens. And this is why tariffs are so important. This was a tariff to recession timeline. Again, this is just kind of made up. But I thought it was interesting. It was shared with me by my friend Steven. And it looks like this is from CNBC. April 2nd, tariffs announced. Container ship departures from China to U.S. are slowing. That's on April 2nd. Now, this is what's going to potentially happen. Early to mid-May, container ships to U.S. ports come to a complete stop. That would be from China. Mid to late May, trucking demand comes to a halt, leading to empty shelves and lower sales for companies. Late May to early June, layoffs in trucking and retail industries, even though we did get the layoff report, and it's actually better than expected. And then summer 2025 was a recession. This is from Apollo Global Management. Now, look, I can't tell you if that's true or not. I'm just telling you that's what some of the experts will tell you. So we'll see if it actually happens. But it would be nice for the experts to finally be right here on their recession, which they've been calling forever. So I would just like to see them actually get a win, because it seems like every time they call a recession, it doesn't happen. Back to the point, though. The point is this. This, again, Mr. Kudlow is going to be talking about this. This is an announcement made recently here on Fox News. And just take a listen. I want to make sure you can actually hear this. Share screen. Share tab, so you can hear what is being said. And this is, what they're talking about is the Secretary of Commerce, Lutnick, which we went into great detail yesterday. And he also came out and said that a deal is done. So just take a listen to this, about 30 seconds or so.
Quote, a deal is, I should say it directly, I have a deal done, but they're waiting for their prime minister, does not name the country, and their parliament to give it approval. That obviously would be huge news on the 100-day mark. We're bringing Larry Kudlow back for a comment on that, because this is obviously, and could be, very big news.
4 dones. And a prime minister and a parliament sounds all like India. I mean, that's what Howard Lutnick, I think. Of course, he should let the president make the announcement if he's going to make the announcement.
And that's true. He should have let Trump make the announcement, but he didn't. Lutnick's Lutnick, and he made this. But it's a quasi announcement. So we know a deal has been done. Deal has been reached with one country. We don't know what it is. Educated guess is because India has actually come to the table. I remember J.D. Vance came out and said that they've already put the framework down for it. This was a couple of weeks ago or last week. So it would just stand to reason that India would want to partnership with us and move forward in these negotiations, and the tariff can actually be reduced. That's good news. And of course, why is that good news? Because hopefully we can avoid recession. Some people want it, like me, some people don't, but it is what it is. So that is positive news. And what happened with the markets themselves? Well, a little bit of a rally, and it was kind of lackluster today in the S&P 500. But then, it's up 0.5%, which is quite boring, quite honestly, for us in the crypto sphere. But over 5 days, it's up 3%. So that's pretty good. I mean, we've had some volatility, but things are what they are. But over a month, pretty much sideways, 5,600, 5560, 5580, roughly where it was. Over 6 months, I think it was 5,800. Now we're down to 55. But over a year, still looking good. And over 5 years, of course, we're still looking really good. So that's the S&P 500. And then, of course, of crypto, hey, we didn't collapse. Things are still going pretty reasonable. We're almost at 94,176. Over 30 days, Bitcoin's up 14%. There's been some winners. You can see them right here. Altcoins are looking all right. Chainlink up 8%, Avalanche 30%. So, you know, things are going in the right direction. We like to see that. Also in the news, looks like Tether has just minted $1 billion as far as on the Tether Treasury. So, you know, when these things happen, people always talk about how great it is and it's going to boost. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it is a nice injection of liquidity from wherever it comes from. I know Tether will tell you that, of course, they are backed one-to-one by the dollar and securities and other assets. Great. I don't really care. Hopefully it just doesn't collapse, although I've been here since 2017. And since that time, people have always told me Tether will collapse. And it's 2025 and it's still going strong. So I like to see the liquidity jump in the market. I like that. That's good. Also, here's another play in the news sphere. This is Grant Cardone, and it looks like he is going to making a $5 billion, just in $5 billion Cardone capital to acquire 1,000 plus Bitcoin, which I have to wonder, you know, Grant and his brother Gary, they were big into Bitcoin for a while. I wonder why the big move just now. You think they want to do that like beforehand? Maybe they couldn't raise the funds or get things together or whatever they were doing. So that's going to be good. Why this is good is because Cardone here is also big in the social media space. So if he buys Bitcoin, he's going to want it to go up and he's going to pump his bags and everyone's going to hear about it. That's why I like it. Not that I'm like, you know, fantastic over it. So that's great. One more positive news, but there is bad news coming. So just hold your horses. Also, Trump and Trump Media, this is from Eleanor Tourette, good one to follow, just stated that in a letter to shareholders, CEO of Trump Media, Devin Nunez, announced the platform is mulling launching a utility token for subscription payments and possible other future uses within the Truth ecosphere. Look, it's a free market. You can do what you want to. It just kind of feels a little sleazy that the president of the United States has his own company over here. And I get it that it's, you know, his son running it and Eric and Don Jr. and they're doing their thing. But man, it just feels weird, especially when they have like Trump coin and now they're going to have a utility coin within the Truth ecosphere. And if they put that through, I don't know, maybe I'm over-analyzing things. Let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comment section. But that's pretty much what's going on. Now I want to get into some other stuff. And I just want to remind everybody, this is from Arkham Research. And this is the power of just hodling on. And that's what we're all doing right now. This was just released today. $250 million Bitcoin whale wakes up after 8 years. So what this guy or gal or group of people, I don't know what it is, they're just addresses. A Bitcoin whale that has held Bitcoin since late 2016 has just moved over $250 million in Bitcoin last night. Wow, 2016, let me see something. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. This is 2017. This is over here at CoinMarketCap Historical. Let's take 2016, November, let's say it was late, November 27th. Do you know the price of Bitcoin back then was $730? Let that sink in. How about this? Let's go to the very latest of 2016, December. It was under $1,000. And you know what? That was a big rally from sub $100. So when I saw stuff like this, and I'm like, you know, that's a pretty long time to hold. He went from, his Bitcoin stack went from $3 million worth in early 2017, because, you know, he bought in 2016, let it accumulate. He went from 3 million to $250 million. And all he had to do was just hold it for 8 years. That's it. And yesterday we talked about who's early and who's not early. I still say we're still early. Bitcoin's a store of value. Gold's a store of value. Diamonds could be considered a store of value if you really think about it. Those things have been around, you know, tens of thousands of years. Actually, for as long as we've had the planet, it's been around. But as far as using it as a store of value, tens of thousands of years. Can you imagine being the first, I don't know, 15 years when people discovered and started to use gold as a store of value? And people are like, you know what, we're kind of late. It's been a decade now using it as a store of value. I'm just saying, I just think there's a way higher upside for Bitcoin moving forward. And this guy figured it out. So that's the good part of hodling. And that's the great aspect of it. And just all you got to do is hold on and pretty much do nothing, which is great. Unlike having your own business where you have to work and grind and thrive, everything else. But there's a flip side to that. And the flip side looks like this. Another guy, not related to this one, 250 million one. Yesterday, a guy got drained of $330 million of his Bitcoin. And he held Bitcoin for over 8 years. This is a tale of two cities. This is one guy. Actually, they both held the same. They both held for 8 years, roughly, right? They had over $250 million in valuations of Bitcoin. One held on to it and is able to live a pretty decent, well, let's be honest, a pretty damn good life. Money can't buy you happiness, but it can sure buy a lot of happiness. And this guy or gal, a group of people, lost it all. What happened? Well, this was actually put out by ZachXBT, and there was a big discussion about this one, and it looks like it was a social engineering type of thing. Some guy was probably had a bad day, sleepy, something like that, got a text message, got an email, got a notification, got something where it said, hey, something about your account is either is hacked, or you owe us some funds, or there's something that you need to do, or there's something that you need to call us for. And it just happens over 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. And this thing happens, and this guy got screwed out of his entire life savings. So when we're talking about how great this is and how awesome this is, I want you to remember this is how bad it could be. So that's what we have in that part. And what I want to tell you is, of course, is the reason for all this is because I want you to make sure that you do the smart thing, which is to spread around your wealth, right? Not everything in one cold storage, not everything in one hot storage device. Just spread things around. That's pretty much all I want to say, and we'll go from there. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section. And Brian says it's the same guy. Holy smokes, even worse. So there's other guys out there that made a bunch of money, and this guy, maybe he moved it. Hold on, 250 million. 250 million. Oh yeah, it is the same guy. Damn, that sucks. Well, even more so. If you were thinking to yourself that maybe this is a time to protect yourself, even a guy who's had 250 million, I guess now it's $330 million, you can get it lost, so can you. Spread around your Bitcoin, spread around your altcoins. Don't put it all in one place, and please don't leave it in one centralized exchange. Anyhow, sad for that guy, lesson for the rest of us. And now, real quick, some altcoins. We talked about Bitcoin a lot, but we should be talking a little bit about altcoins, as at some point there should be some type of rally, but who knows? And this was a good article, Cointelegraph, and it's all about payments. I think that different stablecoins will be the future, and that's the one great use case. And it looks like Metamask, which has been kind of languishing and losing market share lately, is to launch a self-custody crypto card with Mastercard. And I thought it was interesting. I think that's a pretty good idea. And the reasons why is because, well, they're floundering. This is what's up. Metamask is entering a competitive segment of the crypto market. Major exchanges like Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, and Crypto.com already offer crypto debit cards, some of which feature crypto-backed rewards. But according to Dune Analytics, the wallet collected, this would be Metamask wallet, just about $289,000 in fees for the week of April 14th, which is roughly a quarter of what it did a year ago. So they had 1.3 million fees. Now it's only 289,000. That's the lifeblood of essentially of any wallet that's out there, fees. And they are sucking at it because people are using it less and less. Have you used the Metamask wallet? Not the greatest interface. Luxury brands like Dorsia have begun accepting various cryptos as payment, while messaging app Signal is reportedly exploring adopting Bitcoin or peer-to-peer transactions. That's pretty good. I don't know if you guys have ever used Signal itself, but Signal is one of those apps that is supposed to be secure end-to-end transcription, so you can talk with people and not have it become, I guess, publicized, which may be a little bit different than, say, like WhatsApp or something. But so Signal is reportedly adding Bitcoin for peer-to-peer transactions. That's great. And a bill in New York has been introduced to legalize the use of Bitcoin and other crypto for state payments. My question, everybody, is this. Who's using Bitcoin for payments? Seriously. Even if it's on Signal. I don't know. To me, like, I don't see the whole thing with Bitcoin being for payments. I could be wrong. I know there's going to be somebody in the comment section that's going to say, you know what? I think it's going to be for payments because of Lightning Network, and hopefully we'll see how that goes. I still say it's going to be stable coins. Also on top of Mastercard, Mastercard unveils end-to-end stablecoin capabilities. We'll launch a card with OKX, the centralized exchange, so Mastercard really getting in the game. And then also, Mastercard is teaming up with Solana, Polygon, on new crypto credential standards. And this is a big thing because like we all know that Visa is accepted pretty much everywhere. Now Mastercard's kind of like, you know, nudging into the space and going, well, we kind of missed out on the global. Let's try to get there with crypto. And I'm glad to see this. This is what we got for this one. So if you're Solana, Polygon, Aptos, everything else, you might be happy with this one. Mastercard says that blockchain developers Aptos Labs, Avalanche Labs, Polygon, and the Solana Foundation are working with it on a new set of standards. It's dubbed the Mastercard Crypto Credential. I'm going to ask you again, is anybody using Aptos, Avalanche, Polygon, or Solana for payments? I use them for the rails for some stable coins, but as far as like to send Solana and stuff like that, I'm not doing it. But maybe you are. Let me know why you're doing it. Instilling trust in the blockchain ecosystem is a critical step towards realizing its full potential. We need a way for trusted, compliant, and verifiable interactions to take place on public blockchain networks. That's a big difference between a public and a private blockchain network. Visa tried to do this. They're still trying to do this as far as like a private blockchain to kind of keep everything out. I don't think that's the way to go. I think everybody wants to see that. It wants to be out in the open. I don't think everybody wants to see their transactions done, right? But it's pseudo-anonymous. It's linked to a string of a wallet address, not to a person's name. So I think it'd be okay. And lastly, Mastercard, for instance, has worked with Binance to issue crypto-linked debit cards. I did not know this in Brazil and Argentina. That's great. Visa, meanwhile, is hiring software engineers as it develops for what it says is its ambitious crypto product roadmap. I got to tell you, they've been working for quite a long time. I don't know what the holdup is, but Visa and Mastercard, if they want to get on the train, they should have done this already. Anyhow, let me just think about that in the comments section. Also good news, Alex Mashinsky is going to jail. Department of Justice, and Alex Mashinsky, if you don't know who he is, he was the head of Celsius, and he was a lying piece of trash, and I'm glad he's going to jail. U.S. Department of Justice requests 20-year sentence for Celsius founder Alex Mashinsky. And before anybody says, he got caught up in some bad plays. No, he didn't. He lied. The DOJ stated that Mashinsky's plea showed that his crimes were not the product of negligence, but the result of deliberate, calculated decisions to lie. Why would you lie? To make a lot of money, Rob. That's why. So as part of his guilty plea in December 2024, Mashinsky admitted that he was the leader of the criminal activity at Celsius, that his crimes resulted in losses in excess of $550 million, and that he personally benefited more than $48 million, the DOJ said. DOJ highlighted that Mashinsky's guilty plea showed that his crimes were not the product of negligence, naivete, or bad luck, but rather the result of deliberate, calculated decisions to lie, deceive, and steal in pursuit of personal fortune. And he'll be sentenced May 8th. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. So, FAFO, and that's what happens. So I'll be covering that story, and we'll go from there. And lastly, Canada. Good news. This is from David Bailey. He was a host of, or head of Bitcoin Magazine, also does the Bitcoin conference. And if Pierre wins, of course, he was in the runoff for the Prime Minister of Canada, Bitcoin will go to 100K. And he said, a Bitcoiner as a Prime Minister of Canada will be big news. Well, that didn't happen. Looks like Carney, I don't know this, Mark Carney. He is the liberal head of the party, the head of the Liberal Party in Canada, and he won, which is kind of weird because I thought that the Conservatives were crushing the Liberals in Canada, but that's not the case. And this guy ran on essentially an anti-Trump. It was a very smart thing to do, quite honestly, because Canadians were very angry at Trump for talking about the 51st state and the tariff, and he rode that, and he is now the Prime Minister, and Pierre is out. I do not think this guy is a Bitcoiner, and maybe that's good for Canada. I have no idea what's going on in Canada. If you're from Canada, let me know if this is good for Canada or bad for Canada. I don't think this is good for Bitcoin, but it is what it is. So sorry, Canada, that's who you're stuck with. And lastly, Pelosi. This is actually quite funny. There's a new bill in Congress to stop congressmen and women from using their insider information to buy stocks, which is what they do. They sit on these councils, and they're either in the head or they're part of the organization that actually talks about and and speaks to these businesses and gets essentially insider information. And then they either are able to buy stock with the insider information, or will tell their husband or wife, which is what Pelosi does with her husband. And there's a new bill in Congress to stop insider trading. It's called PELOSI, which is funny. Preventing elected leaders owning securities investments. That's a good rip. And I will say that as much as that sounds awesome, it will never pass, because it never has. And they've been talking about this for decades. So good luck with that. And that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. We talk about it's time sensitive. Now let's get into the favorite part of everybody, Q&A. I'll answer all your questions and we'll go for there. So Filthy Financial. Oh, safe plus bond for Canada. That's not good. It's horrible for Canada. Crypto Esquire is laughing. This is bad for Canada. Okay, this is good. Carney was the governor of the Bank of England in 2013 and 2020. Look how England is thriving. Yeah. It was a selection, not election. All right. Based never fell for SBF either. It came into focus with the ecosystem too fast forward. Very true. SBF, everybody seemed to love him. Even Fortune magazine put him on 30 under 30 or whatever that was called, or 40 under 40 or whatever. Everybody who's on that magazine usually falls down. And unfortunately, Justin Sun was just featured, so watch out. We don't want Canada anyway. What happened to the Apple guy? That was Pierre. And what you're talking about is when he was sitting there talking to, I think it was a trucker or somebody else, and he was debating about inflation. He was eating this apple, and he laid it out so eloquently of, you know, where inflation comes from and what happens to the wages. And it really doesn't matter, you know, how much we raise, but we give too much. And that guy lost. So we'll see. We elected Timu Larry Fink to run the country. Timu, if you don't know, is a Chinese-based company that puts out like the cheapest of different products, but they can be actually very good if you're looking for a discount. And unfortunately, they are actually tariffed us, so I don't know if that's going to be so cheap now. Pelosi was funny. Not to be a wet blanket as massive bullish tariff deal news, but India is said to be within 24 to 36 hours from invading Pakistan. We'll see. By the invasion, I wonder how many frame themselves as hacked to evade taxes. That's a good point. See, in America, you can only claim so much of what is hacked per year. So if you were hacked in that story that we did, 330 million, there's only so much that you can use per year. So you're like, well, I'm just going to use the 30,000. But it is a good point. I mean, maybe you can give it to somebody. But if you give it to somebody as like a gift, that's a tax incentive too. So why don't you just do it with that? It's a good question. Crypto Canuck says not a great thing for Canada. I'm going to guess by the name. He's from Canada, so I'll take that as gospel. Maybe if they made it so you can own securities while you're in the office or more securities. Yeah, maybe. Maybe they made it so you can own security as well as you're in office or any more securities. Well, they own a lot of securities. They own a lot of stocks, that's for sure. 66 is watching, as Pelosi talking about. Wasn't laughing at Canada. I don't joke about lack of free speech. Yeah, Canada's done for. I hear that the healthcare is awesome in Canada because it's free. Well, hopefully we're moving through most of the growing pains. Let's hope so. Sue, top price for this cycle? No, I think Sui, whatever. I think that's going to be the darling of the cycle. Kind of like how Solana was a darling last time. So, yeah, it'd probably be pretty good. Exactly. Who is Rob? Canada, Black Sky. Canada needs to make a deal with the U.S. I agree, 100%. Canada and Mexico would be great. Krantz got to go shopping. It's awesome. Krantz, aren't you in Spain? What happened to the electricity? I heard it was gone for like 36 hours or so. Then you guys got it back. I don't know, but I saw a bunch of Europeans flipping. Actually, no, I take that back. I saw a lot of Europeans celebrating when the electricity was going on. It was like a big party over there. Actually, it was pretty cool. And I was just thinking to myself, that's like a Tuesday in Puerto Rico. It was actually about Trump. It was actually about Trump here in the Apple. Excellent. What happened in Texas? I don't know. They don't want to go through that Bitcoin reserve bill. They're just waiting for it. We'll see. Well, yeah, Texas shut down electricity, but that was like a 20-year ice storm that happens. That was like a couple years ago, though, I believe. Every Canadian at the golf club is coming back to Florida next season. Tourists are not boycotting. Warm weather wins the day. That's also true. When I think about what Canada has to trade, I come up with nothing. That's maple syrup. I know there's a bunch of other stuff. I just can't think of it. We in Canada and Michael Soda run the country. Now that would be something. This has haunted me, JF. Sell in May and go away. It has haunted me. Because it wouldn't have worked out so great for you in 2017 in the big blow-off bull cycle of that time. It would have done really well in 2021. So in 2025, I don't know. But it seems like, let's go steal some information from Ben's website, shall we? All right. Let's take a look here. So let's go. Let's compare cycles, shall we? I don't want you. So this is market cycle 5. This is your return on investments from the cycle bottom. The cycle bottom should have been, November 2022. And from that point to today, your ROI is you're up 6x. It's pretty good, quite honestly. And you were at the utmost peak, you were at 6.73. How does that look like from, say, the 2021 cycle? Well, we were tracking pretty close and we were above expectations of market cycle 4. This is in 2020 going to 2021. And it's like there was a dichotomy from here, from November 2024, or what would have been December 2020. And it just we just went flat. We just went straight up flat. This would have been after the elections. Actually, here was the election, November 4th, roughly. And then we peaked out up here. And then this is in, what is this color? Magenta? I'm colorblind. And we've been pretty much sideways. However, the last one, we did quite a run up. So in the market cycle 4, you would have been up 20x at that point. At this point, you're only up 5x from the days to the bottom, which would be day 852. Got it? Let's wipe that out and take a look at market cycle 3. On market cycle 3, you're looking at 2015 to 2017. And again, we were tracking close all the way until January. And then we just had a dichotomy where we split and we went flat. And here we are. So market cycle 3, at this same point, it's more closely related to 2017 than 2021, but it's still far off away. And there is a thing called depreciating returns, but you can just see how things looked. So market cycle 3, way high. Market cycle 4, pretty good. And maybe market cycle 5, maybe we just hit to like a, I don't know, from the bottom, maybe like a 10x from the bottom, which if you think about a 10x from the bottom, that's still $220,000. I don't know if anybody's okay with that. But the answer for sell man go away, I have to wait for some data to come in. We'll see. But I think it would probably behoove some of us to sell some alts, especially the ones that have done pretty well. We'll see. All right. Old guy tech, free. Nothing really is free, ever free. It's true. Someone's got to pay for those hospital bills. Someone's got to pay for that insurance. Someone's got to pay for the medicine. Sweet. That's what we used to call pigs. Alberta's a 51st state. If you have a heart attack in Canada, they can see you in 6 months. I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure that if you have a heart attack and you're about to die, Though that was pretty funny. They will see. But I think if you have an orthopedic issue, like if you need like a total knee, total hip replacement, like you're going to be looking for you're waiting for a long time. Salman Godsend, you heard wrong. Which part? Are we talking about Canada? Are we talking about India? Are we talking about Mastercard? What are we talking about? Paul says, that's a great question, Paul. I don't know. Hey, Rob, what would be the most tax efficient way to transfer your Bitcoin to a Bitcoin ETF? I don't know. Because there's got to be a better way than selling it to cash and then going into that ETF, into whichever one you want, iBit or whatever. I'll have to ask somebody. I've got to answer back to you. Happy Mashinsky got a good sentence. Well, this is just what's recommended. He hasn't really been formally sentenced. He's already been charged and gone through and found guilty, but the sentencing will take place May 8th. Oh, awesome. Canada Prime Minister. Thank you, Andy. He used to be governor of the Bank of England. How's England doing? I'm not seriously asking a question. Is 20 years enough for Alex? I think so. I mean, it's still not going to get our money back, right? Still going to get our crypto back, that's for sure. Canada healthcare is only half free, and that half is not very good compared to the U.S. healthcare. I don't know. If you take a look, I mean, just to be honest with you, I worked in healthcare for almost 2 decades. And, our mortality level is not any better than, I think we rank 32nd as far as the mortality level globally. I mean, for all the money that we put in, for all the research that we've done, for everything that we have and the resources that we have, we're not living any longer. And also, for some reason, we've got a lot of chronic and fatal diseases are on the rise. So, I mean, if you take a look at the cancer report, I mean, everything from skin to bowel to lung to pancreas, all those types of cancers are going up in America. And it seems like chemo radiation can only do so much. But longevity is diminished. So, I mean, people talk about U.S. healthcare like it's great. It's not that great. There's some good people that work in healthcare, that's for sure. But, I mean, if you take a look at it, we're not living any longer. That's the big thing. Paul, how do you Xperia Bitcoin? That's a good question, Remy. We'll find out. Rob, you are one of the few YouTubers that covers crypto hacks. Keep it up. You help me avoid that. Thank you. That's great. And now if I could just make sure no one gets screwed over by a hacker, that'd be awesome. Lots of people leave Canada to the U.S. government to get medical attention for anything serious. That part is true. I've heard a lot of people, they just go across the border, especially for like an MRI. Like, I don't know what is so magical about an MRI, but it takes like forever to get an appointment. So they just come across the border. They pay their, whatever it is, $500-600. Oh, also, here's a little tip. If you're Canadian and want to come across the border and you're paying in cash, remind them when you go there and say, hey, I'm paying in cash, so give me the discount. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about. You're going to give me a discount because I don't have insurance. Because with insurance, whatever you're charging for insurance, you're not going to get that. But you're going to get the cash right now from me. So give me 20% or 25% off or whatever it is. I'm like, okay. I used that many a time when I lived in Vegas and didn't have insurance. All right. Sorry, Mr. Now you don't like the Apple. Good. Steve, you're fine. Yep, there was an outage in France, a very short time. Oh, Portugal and Spain. Here in Barcelona was 12 hours. T&Ds in Spain too was 24. Oh, I thought it was like 2 days. 24 hours. No big deal. Although, I bet some people's food went rotten. Probably the worst part. Let's see. Wood, AZ, they provide most of, lumber from Canada, sure. Social metrics still at bottom. Let's take a look. And of course, if you're looking for this data points, and you're doing the favorite things that I like to do, which is take a look at these risk factors. Hey, let's see what, look at that. Bitcoin risk levels at 0.53. Let's see how high Bitcoin could go this cycle. All right. Real quick. So we're at 0.53, which is 94,429. So I have reduced my dollar cost averaging because it went above 0.5. Everybody knows that. I'll reduce at 0.6, 0.65, maybe start taking profits at 0.7. When we get to like 139,000, you better believe I'm going to take some profits. I know people say don't sell your Bitcoin, but I've got plenty. I mean, not to say I've got plenty, but if Bitcoin goes to where people say it's going to go, and we think it's going to go as far as globally, and it's a reserve, even if you have 0.10, you're going to be a part of the elite anyhow. So I just want to pay some bills. But for this one, at a 1.0 perfection risk level, you're looking at $249,800 for Bitcoin. Now, back to the original question, social metrics. I do like using these here. So there's crypto risk indicators, and I like it because it takes an aggregate of your price metrics, which is market cap, Bitcoin risk, fear and greed. And it takes the on-chain metrics, multiple MVRV or market value versus realized value, takes out the Z-score and the noise, terminal price, thermal cap. And this one's pretty cool, the social metrics, which takes YouTube subscribers and views and Twitter followers. And of course, layer ones. And it breaks down by analyst exchange layer ones. And you can see that, and just as a reminder, in 2021, this is what those risk levels look like when we were having blow off tops. Everything was above, well, why is it? There we go. Everything was above 0.6. And I think that for me is the big one. And if you aggregate it at 0.7, anything above 0.7 was a pretty good time to take some profits. And if you want to do it before then too, cool. This is what it looked like in 2017. Crazy. 2013, the social metrics wasn't being tracked, so that's a little bit different. And today, the social metrics are in the toilet. So social metric risk is pretty low. Retail isn't really back. I think this is really being pushed by sovereign wealth funds, institutions, ETFs, but that is also retail as well. So to answer your question, Fox, it's in the toity. That's what I say. Howdy, Esquire. Common sense ain't so common. It's true. Red Panda's pie. I can tell you we take electricity for granted. Yeah, I took electricity for granted until I moved to Puerto Rico. Then I'm like, man, I need solar panels and I need a generator pronto. And when you don't have it, you're like, well, I'm just going to have to go to the beach. It's pretty much where everybody goes. It's not a bad life. And I'm hoping a lot of you can not round trip your bags, then move to a place like Puerto Rico and, not have so much stress. Let's see. Thank God we didn't get another Trump in Canada. See, there is Steve. 2025, top in November. I'll take it. What about 2019 ban? Say we're somewhere in 2019. Maybe it is. Who knows? I'll have to ask him on NFA Live. Canadian healthcare is far from free, and it sucks. Sorry. Hello, Crook. Hello, Panda. Don't forget Canadians eat poutine. All right. Nailed it. Base says I'm following the charts for that scenario. Difficult to say if it's sell in May. Yeah, it's tough. That I think might be the good theme for NFA Live this week. Sell in May or go away, because essentially we're in May. Actually, it'll be May 2nd when we do the show. Actually, if you really think about it, you should have been selling today. So it's not like sell on the 1st of May. It's like try to front run everybody. Panda, always got good advice. Let's focus on the good news. At least Mashinsky goes to the slammer. I'll trade cucumbers with SBF. Very right. I'm not related to Ben. We just have a close relationship, being his chair and all. Just like no one uses gold. Exactly, Arshak. Exactly. No one's using gold for payments. No one's like, chiseling off pieces Mad Max style for like, a gallon of water. It's just, as far as like Bitcoin and payments, I just think that ship has sailed. I know Jack Dorsey thinks that it's a complete failure if we're not using it for payments, but it is what it is. I just don't see it. And for as much as people talk about, Lightning, I've been around a lot of places and I've never seen Lightning. I have seen a QR code for Cardano, and I've seen it for Bitcoin, and I've seen it for Solana. That's about it. Hit the likes for charity. I'll take it. Oh, funny. Charity. Ben's chair must be a dad. Did the tariffs just delay the bull market 4 months? Perhaps. Face Bailey. Everybody's laughing. Tariffs killing the bull market. Sorry, the carnivore diet. You doing it, Rob? I've been doing it for 2 years. And it's pretty great. It's a little tough in the beginning, but yeah. If you guys want to follow that journey, there's a link in the description called Max Mondays. It's at the very bottom. It just says follow Dan. And it's on, I got my other second channel, Dan Degen, Twitter, and then Max Mondays. Follow me over there. For the carnivore, these dominants. I didn't realize that Luma grids in Spain and Portugal explains electrical out. How dare you, Remy? Luma is still the king of inefficiency. If you don't know who Luma is, they're the electric company, the corporate electric company that took over in Puerto Rico. I think it was 2020, 2021, somewhere around there, because it was government owned, and you know, that's why we've had some like island-wide blackouts for a couple of days. Just the whole electricity goes out for 2 days. Hey, good evening. Hoofty's here. Floofing. Sweet means water, I think. Sure. Laughter. I may or might have some. Panda's here. Base Bailey. Esquire. I will gladly see you Tuesday for a heart attack today. Geez, you'll wait months for an MRI. That's insane. I have heard they do have like PRP and stem cell injections, though. I wonder how long that takes to get. Just don't go in the ETFs. Just wait months anywhere for them. Jeez, that's crazy. That's real, too. I thought that was a lie. Huh. Bitcoin is not ETF. It's taxable any way you do it. Yeah. There's the second wet blanket of the show, Mullet. 20 years in Discord. Engagement, Mark Carney. Hey, Rob, I send crypto to family for gifts. That's another thing that I've done. Yeah, I've sent that to family. I've sent TANGEM wallets preloaded with crypto, so they get it, just so everybody could say thanks for the crypto and then sell it. Like when everything was going down, and I was like, you don't want to sell it. You can do it, but you're gonna regret it. And they sell it. I'm like, well, that was a waste of a gift. Life expectancy in Puerto Rico is 2 years longer than the USA. I believe it. It's the greatest place ever. I don't think any ETFs make a transfer. Yeah. U.S. healthcare stinks and our food stinks. Canadians don't either. Yeah, you know, if we can just stay away from the center aisles of the grocery store and go for the outside where all the vegetables, fruits, if you're into that type of thing, meats and such, that's what it is. And it is the food. Exactly, it's the food. The fact that we have urgent care in every corner says volumes. Yeah. We have urgent care and also QVC, and sorry, QVC, CVS and Walgreens everywhere here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you haven't been to America. There's like one in every corner because we just cannot stop taking prescribed medications that don't do too much for us and actually make us sicker. Some actually do work pretty well. It's true. Nope, we don't want to spend people die. The ER and orthopedic wait times are atrocious. Wow. I know Ben's chair knows because he's in healthcare. I know exactly who he is. The ER and orthopedic wait times are atrocious, as well as MRI and CT scans wait times. Like, are we talking like a month? Or are we talking like 3, 4, 5, 6 months? That seems ludicrous to me. I don't want to pay taxes too. Nobody does. Big agri and pharma on it. Thanks. Time to go for a walk. Yeah, me too. I gotta take this lazy mutt right here. Time to go, cutes. For a walk. That's the whole thing. If you can just take walks, you know what lowers your risk of dementia, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and visceral fat? All you got to do is just walk 10,000 steps. Yes, urgent care has replaced sick visits to primary doctors. I've heard that too. I'd rather be trading with a democracy like India than a communist country like China. Yeah, you can see that. I have to agree. Star Crypto says all the crap people in the good old USA. That's true. Starting to fast, 3 hours for bed, 8 hours sleep, 12-hour fast, max REM sleep, no digestive during sleep. Exactly. Intermittent fasting, do OMAD, 1 meal a day. Try to shoot for 36 hours, then 24, then 72, then 96. Go for the big 5-day fast, see how well you do. Make sure you get enough. Talk to your doctor and take electrolytes and fluids. But yeah, it's massive things. You increase your human growth hormone by up to 300%. Autophagy increases by 200%. And you reduce fat and comorbidities. So that's like, that fasting is probably like the superpower that people don't know they need. MRI is the moneymaker, very expensive for Canada government. I've heard that too. Diagnostics are where hospitals make most of their money. I can pay cash for MRI almost cheaper than my Jeez Louise. That's sad. Listen to that. I can pay cash for my MRI almost cheaper than my copay with insurance. That's sad. The hacker turned into Monero tells you a lot. Yeah. If you don't want to get tracked, put it into Monero. Privacy coins. 12. Start a homestead, save money, eat healthy. All the processed food is hurting us. Yep. Ooh, 2 Spaniards. Danny's also in Spain too. I don't know where he's at though. He's been MIA. Rob, you thinking of being a hard money lender for real estate deals? Please do a video on if you do. Yes, as a matter of fact. And we just talked to Mark Cargill, I think. And he's from the Flip Flop Flipper show. Very small YouTube channel, but he's been doing real estate for decades. And he's doing hard money deals for real estate. And we talked about what that entails, why we think it's a reasonable idea. And also, it's not just about, flipping and making profits, but there are over 250,000 dilapidated and zombie homes in Puerto Rico, and they will either never get rebuilt up, and there's a massive housing shortage. So if you can do that at a reasonable price, then you can actually build up the housing industry in Puerto Rico for families that actually need it. I think it's a great idea. And then, of course, the banks kind of suck over there. So if you can be a hard money lender and just get people moved in, everything moves faster. So yeah, I will definitely be letting everybody know when we get that done. All right. Canadians just spend all their time walking around the cold, being all neutral and eating. They don't need MRIs. I guess. Awesome, Dan. First digital. Thank you. Well, UK owns most of the US debt, then in Japan. Yeah. I wonder who has the most debt. I think it's China. Them in Japan. That's me. Red Panda Pie would eat a lot right before bed. Dum dum dum. Rob, do not say you have a slot of Bitcoin. A lot of crazy people out there will do some really crazy stuff. Yeah, that's why I like when I say a lot, like it's all relative. Like as far as like the grand scheme of things, I think it's like globally 4% of people own Bitcoin. So like anybody who has like around 0.10, I say you have a lot of Bitcoin. So that's that. Let's see. TBI says, Rob, does your training course teach about how to use metrics? TBI, I don't have a training course. I have a free website where I just put on my best stuff over there. It's called danteachescrypto.com. There's a link in the description. But as far as like metrics, we have, I think, one video on, no, actually we have 3 videos on what I look at as far as like metrics. Some are on Ben's website, some on other websites. And again, that's free. So it's not like a mystery to everybody. So yeah, it'll help you. And then I recommend you get into Ben's website because it's great data. It is. I don't know if you guys know this, but Ben pays a lot of money for that to upkeep that website because he has to have API integrations with all these different data points and data centers. He told me one day, I was like, that's a lot of money. Canada is now the France of North America. An F-in embarrassment, maybe. Shaolin's here. For Hoofty, I'm French and really a few beers and doobies. Hoofty's a little older if he's saying doobie. Thanks, Days. Have a nice one. Just don't drive. Yeah. MicroStrategy earning 5 for 1. Yeah, I own some of that stock. Did pretty well. Let's see. Let me go down to the bottom here and come on. Ben is the man. Pretty good guy. It's true. Guy, also great person. When will market find that Solana is a meme cesspool scam? Don't tell it to Solana maximalists. They will hate you forever. But I mean, look, I know people will say that Solana is trash, Mohammed. And I get it because it goes down and it's like people say it's a VC coin, but I got to tell you, it does work. It does work great. And if you could ever, like if you took like the Metamask wallet with EVM compatibility and you take like the Phantom wallet and you want to do things with it, actually send assets around, it works great. It works like better than great. So, and I figured this out when I was doing a live stream on Dan DJ, my second channel. I did a token that some project gave me. It was something, it was dumb. And I was just giving it away because I'm like, I'm not going to ever use this stuff. So I was giving it away, and it was on the Ethereum chain, and it was like so much. It cost me a lot just to give it away. And then another meme coin came to me and said, hey, we're going to do this giveaway. It's on the Solana chain. Okay, great. They said, use the Phantom wallet. You'll see how easy it is. And I was doing the giveaway, and you can watch it over on Dan DJ. And I was doing the giveaway. I was saying, okay, I gave you like Panda. Here's your tokens. Tell me when you get them. And it was like 5 to 10 seconds later. And there's a lag in with YouTube. It's like, I got the tokens. And every other tokens right away, it was a fraction of a penny, and it just worked. And for me, I'm like, as long as you work, I don't care. Now, could it have gone down during that time? Yeah, sure. But I mean, look how many times Solana's gone down. 8 times in, I don't know, like what, 18 months? My bank goes down more than that. And they're supposed to be the gold standard. So I'm like, you know what? I still think it's got some room to run. That's just me. French is known for good protest in Greece. Brian, good night. Ben needs a chair. That's why he's got you. Ben, I'm only 44. Sure, Hoofty, sure. Well, Jen, Starbucks, stock down 6%. Oh, they must have not done so great. Earnings reports coming out. I think this scam was up or otherwise. Very true. Rob is still good on DCA, BTC. Trinidad? Yes. Yes, it is. It hasn't hit $1 million yet. And again, I have a price prediction. Bitcoin will be somewhere between $5 and $50 million by 2030. Somewhere in that range. So I'm feeling pretty good. Jen, I wish I had Rob's chill advice. You know how you get it? It's very simple. It's you take profits along the way. You understand. Actually, I'll just show you exactly how it works. You just do this. You don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and you think it's all gone. It's all gone. It's all afford to lose. Everything's a scam until proven otherwise. Don't leave anything on exchanges. Don't use leverage, and take profits along the way. And when you take profits along the way, and there's 2 videos I want you guys to watch. Links in the description. One is called the half and half method, and the other one is the indicators that I'm using to sell 50 to 80% of all my crypto. Half and half method is very simple. For the unproven different altcoins, the digital assets out there, as soon as it doubles, you take half. And then when it doubles again, you take half, or you wait till it triples or quadruples or whatever you think, and you take half out. And then you wait for it to go to 2 or 3 or 4 or 5x again. And people will say, well, you just missed out on generational wealth. No, even if you did that with Ethereum, which is one of the few that actually made it, if you would have done that exact same system, you'd still be, depending on how much you put in, 10 million, 20 million. Now, you wouldn't have $10 billion, but who the hell needs $10 billion? Nobody. So that's pretty much it. You just do those things, and then you diversify like some people don't want you to do. I still say you should diversify. I still say, like, you know, gold's not a bad thing to have. Silver, real estate, great thing to have. ETFs, spread it around. Stocks, and of course, some digital assets. That's how you get it. All right. I got to go walk this dog. Everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. This was a fun time. Always a good time. Like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And don't forget, Thursday on Ben's channel and the CRYPTOVERSE for our NFA live show. And I will ask him about that sell may go away. Maybe we can get into that. It was a good question. Thanks so much, everybody. See you in the next one. Adios.